Hey, this is lesson 14, page 313. Today we're working with frequency tables and line plots. So a line plot's pretty easy to spot, and we worked with those, I believe, on Thursday or Friday. And really the idea is you can just see easily which one has the most. So they typically have a title, which is on the bottom, ages of basketball players, and you can see that 9 would be the most popular age. Now, if nothing is there, it means that there isn't anybody who is 6 who plays. Now, a frequency table shows how many times events occur. So if you look at that 7, there's only 1 player, and that's where you only have that 1 dot. A tally chart is really a frequency table, except for you're using tally marks instead of numbers. So they're kind of all related. And that really, if you were doing the data, if you look at page 314 and 315, which we're not doing because we do them if we were at school, but we don't have each other. So you'd keep track using a tally mark, you change it into a number, and then you would put it into a line plot. So fairly simple to interpret, to use, to look at. So how many players are 10 years old? So you would just go in and you would count those dots. 1, 2, 3, 4 players are 10 years old. Now sometimes they'll say, you know, like how many people are younger than 10. So then you really have to be careful, because you have to think, well, it's including everybody who is 9 and younger. So you'd have to count all of those. But it doesn't look like any of them are very tricky. So most often it's pretty easy to spot 2, because that would be the highest line, or the one that happens the most frequently. Now we are also going to do 16. Now disregard, I crossed this stuff out, and I typed this in ahead of time because I knew my writing wouldn't fit in here. But what you guys are going to do is you're going to create a horizontal and a vertical bar graph. So you have to include the title, Joe's Cap Collection. Over here I have the types of caps, and then I have the number of caps on the bottom. So the first thing I do is I would just take a look at all of those numbers, 60, 35, 20. I know I'm not going to count by 1s for sure. I'm not going to count by 2s. If I count by 5s, I might not even have enough space. So this would be 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. I would only get to 40, and I know that I have one that has 60. So for me, each one of these lines, I would make 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So it's hard for me to make these neat. So I gotta blow it up a little bit. 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. And then I can shrink it back down. And then I would draw my bars to get to those spots. So baseball is going to be 60, so I'll make that red. So I'd go all the way over to that 60. Now, last week too, we talked about those 5s, like a 35 would be right in between 30 and 40, so that line would go halfway. So do your best to hit that halfway mark. So this will be good practice, and then of course, do the IXLs, because those will be good for line plot kind of stuff too. All right, good work.